Welcome to the T-ROH show. That's your host, Keith. We've got some people on the line that are part of the temple. That would be the Reign of the Heavens Society Temple. Now, the temple has been, what would you say, persecuted, called a cult, all this other crazy stuff. They believe that I call myself a high priest and that it's a dictatorial cult and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, what we do is we talk about the narrow way all the time. That's what everybody does in the temple. Now, a lot of it is almost the equivalent of a Dr. Phil show. What I mean by that is there's a lot of counseling going on. There's a lot of deep, what do you call that? Searching. It's soul searching and that kind of thing. And there's a specific thing that happens when you start doing that. Stuart Best, people started looking at Stuart Best a long while ago, and I can actually be a witness to what he's saying. I see through the churches now. I only saw them about 3 weeks ago on how bad they are and how they're keeping people from not ever finding Jesus. What I mean by finding Jesus is you have an experiential meeting between each other. He's still alive, or he's alive. He got off that cross and he's alive, and you can go and find him. That's absolute truth. Anybody here want to say that if you found him, you want to speak up or no? In other words, has he spoke to you?
I've met him multiple times.
I haven't seen him, but I tell you, he's in me because my life has changed. And you're talking about it as far as the Lord above, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes. My life has changed because I look at right from the day that I saw that flag flying over at Pork Fest till just recently. I got hit the other day and my eyes opened and I says, I won a lottery in a sense that I don't know, it's much bigger than the 1.35 billion, much bigger than anything you could imagine, for a number of reasons. But the big part of it is he's looking out for me. He's up there and he's looking out for me. He's definitely steering me in the right direction where it seems like everything is falling in place and I belong where I'm at, and I'm here. I'm here for a reason, and he brought me here. And I don't know what else to say about that. I haven't seen him. I know you have. You said you speak with him numerous times. You see him. And I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken with him. I'm always thinking of him. It's always on my mind throughout every day. And I can feel the energy around me, but I'm here, and he sent me here. He sent me in this direction. He and I even look, I says, I'm with my wife, and absolutely beautiful in a sense that I was put here for that reason, you see, and I'm being challenged, but I don't know. I just I see a lot of things coming out of the North American National Party and these, this government and group that I'm involved in, the people that I'm surrounded by. It's just, I don't know, the energy's there. It's just like one big, like Naomi had said a ways back, we are family. And I say that because it seems like, American nationals and declared residents, we look out for each other. And we definitely look out for people within the community and, neighbors helping neighbors and all that, but it seems like we stick together. We're one big group. And you can't, I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you're dealing with somebody that's a part of the North American Party and you're dealing with American Nationals, it's a community that, these people work in honor. Just similar, like, I guess you would think, the Amish of any of those groups, the way they think. And I was directed here for a reason, and it's really, changed my life in a positive way. And I just can't, I just can't see anything better than that. And I feel like, I mean, I don't know the narrow way. I'm always saying, I gotta, I gotta be following that narrow way, and I haven't seen
Well, that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight, is getting people on the narrow way. How do I do this?
Yeah, I feel like I'm being drawn toward it, but I can't see it. You see,
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's really been hitting me recently. I get this energy in me. It's just like it's drawing me right in that path. But I can't see it. I haven't spoken to the Lord. He's always on my mind. I'm trying to see him and look for him, but he's around me. He's surrounding me. But I mean, I
Okay.
can feel it. It just is it. Am I don't know. It's an energy thing. It's around me. It's surrounded me. He's over me. He's looking at me. He's
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll
following
get
me.
there.
Yeah, but I just don't. I don't know. It's something, but it has changed my life, and now even recently over the last, I don't know, few weeks or a week or two, I'm starting to realize, wow, man, this stuff is just, I don't know how to take. I don't know how to take it. But yeah, so I did want to speak up and say that, but I'm just going to sit back and listen to the presentation and the narrow way.
Okay.
So, but that's why I'm drawn here, and can't thank is enough for that.
Okay. Does anybody else have a witness to the narrow way? In other words, are you on it?
Yeah, Keith, I just want to speak up. Yes, Jesus is alive. I felt his presence many times. I've started walking down that narrow way. His grace is with me each day since I'm on that narrow way, to learn how to be more like him, to trust him, to walk with him. And it's a great journey. There's ups and downs, but it's a very worthwhile journey down that narrow way, and I'm continuing on that direction. So thank you.
All right. That's at least three witnesses. And we have, I know we have more on here, but some of them people don't like to talk on the show. So
Yeah, I just can't see him. I just can't see him physically.
well, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Drawing me in a direction, but I just don't. But he's definitely what he's done over the last month or two, or definitely like the communication I'm having with this group and these people, and I feel it. I feel something. I feel like that energy, and I feel like it's just pulling me. And I don't know if to call it the narrow way or not, but he's bringing me down a path. But I just can't see him. But he's out there. I can feel it, and I hope I'm going in the right way, right direction. I believe so. But it's
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what we'll do is, a lot of people that we have the Stuart Best series on here. In other words, Stuart Best wrote this book, and it was like 700 something pages long, 742, I think. I read the first 300 pages, and Jen is reading the next 300 pages, and we're putting it on the T-ROH show, T-ROH show.com. And here's some of the things. What I thought was, is I'm going to start a T-ROH with this series on it, dealing with the narrow way and the straight gate. Since I've been down there, and I'm still going down there. You never think you made it. That's that's one of the rules. You always keep going, no matter what. There's always something to learn, and it goes in very deep issues, your childhood issues, a lot of things like that. And there's techniques of dealing with those childhood issues that you've had, all your life. All these things that have affected you and molded you. Okay. Now, those things that affected you and molded you are things that need to be taken away. Because a lot of people get very shocked when they first realize what the Bible really says, what it's actually saying, not what you think it's saying, and not what a preacher is telling you. A lot of people, when I was watching I watched or started studying the churches for about the last month or so, and I started realizing that Osteen and others, okay, are just smoke and mirrors. Give me money. The whole deal. So we know that they're going to have trouble, especially after they die. They're going to have trouble. I also saw the preachers, and I'm not witnessing against them in this particular show. What I'm saying is that I saw them put the Bible up as an idol in front of the Father or in front of Jesus. They're not saying that he's alive, that you can actually go see him. They're saying that he that if you don't know that book, you're not going to get there. Well, that's exactly the opposite of the way you need to go, because this is not about deserve. It's not about works. You can be the lowest life on the planet, low life, whatever, and still make it. It's open to everyone, but not everyone makes it. Matter of fact, Jesus said very few make it. And the reason why that is, I believe, because I've been going down this narrow way, is intent as to why you're doing it. Why do you want to meet Jesus? That's the whole point. If you wanted to do that, why would you go there? And most people will say to get salvation, and all that. That's what they're wanting. They're wanting salvation, don't want to go to hell. Those are pretty decent reasons. I'm not saying they're bad reasons. However, it is not the real intent or the real thing that needs to happen. So during this series, I'm going to show you what happens when you're going in certain directions, so that you can go back and listen to this video series. And if you get lost, or you go through a rough down slope, okay, you go into a valley and you can't get out of the valley, because this thing is a roller coaster. It's down the valley, up in the top, down the valley, up in the top, valley, top, low, high, low, high. It goes like that. It's a pattern. You'll feel really depressed at one time, and then in the evening you're feeling great, and then you'll go back down, and then back up again, and back down. And it's going to feel like you're in a roller coaster. Okay. So you just have to realize that that's the way it is. This life was not meant for you to get up in the morning, go to school, get your high school diploma, go to college, get a career, have a wife, children, live out your life. When you're 65, you retire, and then you go have fun. You are going to be sorely surprised, and you are sorely mistaken if you think that that's what you're supposed to be doing on this earth and expect to make it to heaven. I used to think that, if I did the right thing, I did the best I could, did the right thing all the time, as much as I understood, because I didn't know what the hell the right thing was. I learned later. That, it was like a balancing act here. If I did more bad than good, then I would go to hell. If I did more good than bad, then I would go to heaven. I would stand there in front of the Father and feel his love, and he would judge and da 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 da. That is completely and utterly false. Matter of fact, that's a laughable conclusion. You're not on a scale where you die, you go before the Father, he judges you, and all that. And then, oh, well, my sins were forgiven through Jesus, so even though he judges me, my sins are forgiven, and therefore I go right to heaven because of Jesus. But yet you ignore Jesus your whole life. Because why? Because you're saving up for something. You're saving up for a nice car that you want to retire on. You want to go down to the Caribbean, Caribbean, however you want to pronounce it, buy a home and live in luxury and paradise for the rest of your life. Oh, by the way, you got to have fun. That's what Disney always said. Spend some time with your friends and have fun. And you hear that on these Disney shows probably 70 times in a half hour. Just hang out with your friends and have fun. Oh, just go have fun. You'll be great. And that's how they make life out to be. And then you have those that are mad at the Father. They're mad at God. And they're arrogant and they're atheist and they bear false witness and they do some evil things that they want to do because they're not getting their way, or they're jealous. Life is just not turning their way for them. You got to think about that. Things aren't going their way. You have those kind. Then you have Karens and I think it's Kevin's or Ken's. I think it was Ken's. Anyway, and then you've got to, you're going to show everybody how awesome you are when you go into a store and then just berate the crap out of everybody. Tell everybody how good you are. Tell everybody that you're right and they're wrong, and you're going to teach them. And what ends up happening is the whole world kind of turns back on you. Every time you get angry and start trying to tell people what to do and all that, you'll notice that you can't correct them. They won't listen to you. You cannot correct them. Why is that? No matter how much you yell at them, they're just going to keep resisting and keep resisting. And they're going to keep fighting you. Eventually it'll turn into physical fights or embarrassment. Everybody's going to be put on, social media. We're going to show everybody what an idiot you are. No matter what you do, you cannot do anything for anyone else. Unless it's for people that you know, your family, friends, all that. Life was not made for weekend barbecues. You're not here for that. Okay? And a lot of people believe that God is on their side. That our Father in heaven is on your side. And that is due to ignorance. It's ignorant because you don't know what happened. There's a lot of history you don't know. There's a lot of things you haven't put together. Why is this narrow way so important? What is the big deal? He told us to go through the straight gate and the narrow way. So everybody starts looking around for a straight gate and a narrow way. What is this? Is this in between two buildings that are very close to each other? Is that narrow way like a foot? Do I need to lose some weight to get through this thing? And what is that straight gate? What's going on with that? I don't get that. Okay. And what's the purpose? I thought I was forgiven. I thought Jesus died for my sins. That's what the preacher said. And that when I went in and I faced him and I said, yes, and they call you up to the pulpit, and you to accept Jesus. A lot of them have that time where that happens. To accept Jesus as your personal savior, you feel this great weight lifted off of you, but it only lasts for about a week or two. And you're confused. Am I forgiven for that, or forgiven now, or what's going on here? And then the preachers always come back and say, well, don't worry about it. Jesus already took care of this for you. So all you have to do is live your life. Hang out with your friends and have fun. Watch the Super Bowl that has satanic messages all through it. Watch Satan's game. It's a football game. Halftime, they're all Satan worshipers. But you watch it anyways because that's what you're supposed to do. Hang out with your friends and have fun. Why? Because you watch Disney your whole life. And that message stuck. Now, most people will say, well, hell, you're just crapping on everything in this world. Yes, I am. The society here, the U.S. society, and many other societies, okay, do the same thing. Jesus is for Sundays. That's what they tell you. You go there, you get your feelings, you feel better. It gets you, when you feel better, you've been forgiven, right? That's how that works. Because you're in charge. And if the preacher says something that makes you feel better, then you must have been forgiven because you feel better. That's how a lot of this works. And there are so many of these types of deceptions that you live every day. And I lived them too. So there's nothing here that I'm not going to talk about that I haven't done myself. Okay. And fell for. And that particular type of anger propelled me down to go find Jesus. Because I had been tricked, deceived, searching for the Father my whole life, just not understanding what it was and what was going on. But once I met him and I met Jesus, there was a whole different story. And what he does is he tells you what really happened to you. What happened to your bloodline? What happened to the many before you? Okay. Now, how did I get there? What I did one day is I decided to just say this. I'm tired of Babylon because that's what everybody lives in. The whole world is Babylon. It's the way it is now. It was this way before. That's why empires kept coming up and going down, up, down. They would raise up and then fall, raise up and fall. It's because they were built on sand. Not literally. The philosophies of it was built on sand. They didn't have a cornerstone. They didn't. I'm not doing a Masonic thing. Jesus is the cornerstone. Yeah, I'm in no way involved in the Masonic Lodge. I have nothing to do with that. Everybody knows me on the T-ROH. They know I don't like the Masonic Lodge. Okay. However, they did steal a term called the cornerstone. When you build something with that cornerstone, it's built on rock, not on sand. Okay. And there's a verse that states that, and I'm just going to paraphrase. Okay. I'm not going to start preaching at you. I'm going to paraphrase. I'm going to speak your language because I understand your language very well. I lived it. The paraphrase is, I never knew you. Those that committed iniquity, I believe, just paraphrasing, I never knew you. Now, Stuart Best brings this out as far as I never knew you. He said, being saved and getting what do you call, salvation is based on Jesus knowing you. Now think about this for a minute. A lot of this is about him knowing you. Okay. And if you repent and get out of Babylon, that's your first step. You need to leave Babylon. I believe some of the people here, one of them, the second she left Babylon, it was 2 or 3 days later, and Yahushua came into her heart. That was very quick. And it's not the heart we're talking about that you'll feel like you feel this this awesome feeling. And I've done it. I'm not saying it's false. I'm saying that that's your outer heart, but you have two hearts within you, one outer and then one inner. There's an inner heart in you. You have two. People don't know that. Why haven't the preachers said that? Why didn't they tell you there were two hearts? There's a problem there. I'm not going to berate them to make you listen to me. I don't make any money on this. This is my own personal time. I'm not here to ask for your pocket and your money. I'm here to tell you what I went through. And if you want to go through the same thing, this is the way. Get on your knees. I still have the same pillow that I have my knees on. It's kind of a special thing for me. I like that pillow because that pillow is a symbol of me deciding to turn my life around. It only requires you that you decide. Everything else is already done. It only requires that you decide. You make a decision. It's a yes or a no. Do you want to stay in Babylon? Yes or no? That's all it is. If you don't want to stay in Babylon, then you say, I want to leave Babylon. You get on your knees. If you've never talked to Jesus before, talk to him like you're talking to your next door neighbor. He is very personable. He is extremely cool. The most amazing man I've ever met. And over the years, we've become friends and brothers. Okay? That's possible. That relationship is open to you. It's open to everybody. Because that relationship determines whether you have salvation or not. Whether he knows you or not. Now, first of all, people will say, okay, well, yeah, through his blood, he died and I'm saved. Awesome. Does he know you? Have you ever met him while you're here on earth? Well, no. I pray to him, but I've never met him. I've never felt him in my home before. I've never felt him around me. I've never heard his voice say hello. So when I got on my knees and I said, I invite the Holy Spirit. That's how I thought. I didn't realize set apart spirit was the proper terms, but they do give you a lot of breaks. Okay. And invited the set apart spirit into my heart, into me. And I want Jesus in my life. I want to get to know him. Not a lot of people have your back in this world. Not a lot of people have your best interest. Not even some of your best friends, not even your wife or your husband. But I can tell you one thing, he does have your best interest at heart. And so does our Father in heaven. but you're going to see a different side of our Father in heaven that you're not going to, you're going to say, Keith, you're full of it. You're going to tell me I'm full of it. Okay. You're going to see a different side of him. You're going to see a different side of Yahushua. You're going to see the most strict living that you've ever had in your entire life. You think the Baptist preacher was strict, talking about fire and brimstone all the time? You're going to see some strict stuff because perfection is absolute. There's no room for any form of what should I say? Tampering with and or contaminating. There's no room for that. So if you like order, you're going to love the narrow way. If you like things that make sense to you and common sense, if you like rules, you're going to love the narrow way. See, I was always told that Yahushua was, and I call him Yahushua, Yeshua, and Jesus. He answers to either one. Okay, I'll switch around a lot to reach everybody at the same time. I was always told that he was a hippie. Oh man, you can do. He just loves everybody. No matter what I do, he forgives me. No matter what happens, he forgives me. I can just keep on a sinning. I can keep on a doing my whole life. And as long as I say, Jesus, please forgive me at the end of that life, then I'm good to go. I'm going to make it to the pearly gates and I'm going to get through. Then go try to do the same thing in heaven. And guess what? That doesn't work. It's not going to happen. And guess what? It doesn't happen in hell either. Hell's the most stinky, disgusting place you've ever seen. I'll give you a story about that probably in the second or third episode. However, I'm going to say this one more time. You need to leave Babylon. Listen to what I'm telling you. Now, I'm not saying pack up your crap and go on out to the woods. Okay? This is all internal heart of hearts. This is all internal. It's within you. You remember him saying the kingdom of heaven comes from within, right? Well, think about that statement. That's the venue you're going to be talking about, and that's the venue most everybody hates. I know there's a lot of people who have seen me go through a lot of things, okay? Especially when I hit people with the truth. Man, do they hate me. I'm everything but a living being. I'm a dog crap on their shoe. And they'll berate me up and down, complaining that I berate people. They'll accuse me of things that I've never even thought of. It's because a lot of people do not like the truth. They love that darkness. They do not like the light of truth. So if you like darkness, just go ahead and go on to the next show. You can go watch you some chicks and stuff, you know, half naked women, whatever you want to do. Or half naked men, depending on who you are. Go have some fun, you know, spend the weekend with your friends and have fun. You just need to go back to sleep, because if you don't like truth, you're not going to like the narrow way. I happen to love truth. I love it with all my heart, mind, and being. He said he is the truth, the way, the truth, and the life. And you're going to know what that means. What you think something means is not what it means. It was something completely different. And you will be deceived. You will deceive yourself through the narrow way. And then you will see the truth. But first, what do you got to do? You have to get on your knees and get out of Babylon. It means get off the porn. Get off having sex with a woman 15 times when she walks into a restaurant because you like the way she looks. You're imagining her with her clothes off. Right? Everybody, all the men do that. Women do the same. They have these fantasies and all this crap's going on. You have to stop every bit of it. You got to get out of Babylon. Okay? You have to no more pornography. No more checking anybody out on images in Google and Brave. No more checking out movie stars to see if they've had a sex tape or not, or if they've been naked before in a movie. No more doing that. No more drugs. Got to put them down. Got to get rid of the cigarettes. Believe me, it's not as hard as you think. I smoked for 37 years. 37 years, folks. I've been up and down 1-2 packs a day, down to 1 pack a day, down to half a pack, then back up to 2 again. More times than I can remember. And I quit 4 years ago. Man, do I love the money that I saved for that. Save a lot of money with that. Life has gotten a lot easier because of it. You work your butt off. I'm not saying I love money, but you understand what I mean. You work your tail off, okay, every day. And, $150 of that goes towards cigarettes or $100. I'm telling you, you could use that money. That $300 a month or $400 a month that you're spending on that crap. It's awesome tasting your food again. It's awesome watching your gums heal and all that. You know who helped me there? That would be Jesus. I give him all the credit. There was only 4 hours that I went through hell to get where I wanted to go. How bad did I want it? How bad did I want out of Babylon? And how bad did I want away from cigarettes and everything else? Because believe it or not, the first thing he teaches you is what addiction is. So let's go there. First thing he teaches is you're not addicted to anything. Then that shocked me. What it is there's a demon that convinced you that you like cigarettes and then made it a part of your identity. With the help of the state, you're a smoker. That's part of your identity. Well, I'm a smoker. Okay? And once you realize that it's not a part of your identity, it's not a part of you, and it's not you, it makes it a whole lot easier to get rid of it. It stinks, guys. It really smells bad. If someone is smoking 20 feet away from me, it's as if I'm smoking. You can smell it. It's that bad. Horrible. And you stink. You smell like a rat hole. No matter how many times you have you go get a shower, you still stink like that stuff. You still smell like it. It's part of your identity, isn't it? It becomes a part of you. You just don't look right unless you got a cigarette in your hand. You can give that up. Okay. So I got on my knees and I asked our Father in heaven, invite Jesus into your heart and invite the set apart spirit into your heart, into you. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear a thing. Nothing happened. I stood up. Nothing happened. I said, well, that tells me right there that there's something ain't right. So I did it again the next night. Still, nothing happened. Then I got stubborn. And I said, I'm going to keep going and do this same thing every day until he shows up. I said, I don't care if I'm 90 years old. if I got to keep going till I'm 90, if I'm still alive, and if I can get on my knees at that age, I'm going to get on my knees and ask the Holy Spirit, or set apart spirit, to come in and into my life, to accept him and to have Jesus in my life. I said, that's it. I'm done. I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm not going to say it's that easy. The next night, folks, it happened. He showed up. He showed up. And I'm not going to tell you what happened next. It just involves a pulpit. I'm going to tell you in the next show. Okay? Now, the first thing that you need to understand is this. When going down the narrow way, I'm going to switch a little bit. This usually happens after you accept the Holy Spirit and you meet a part of Jesus on an external level. You have to go to Calvary in your mind. This is the place that Jesus was crucified. I know a lot of people don't know that. I personally did not know that that's what Calvary was. I read the Bible, I don't know, once or twice. Still did not know that. Okay? So it shows you how blinded I was to the truth. Because that Bible reads a whole lot different than it used to. Especially now. If you don't understand the subject matter of that Bible, you are never going to get it. Okay? Now, imagine yourself on the hill where Jesus was crucified. And then you pick up your cross. And you ask, in a very kind manner, may I walk through the straight gate to get on the narrow way? There's going to be 1 million people to your right or to your left accepting Jesus and then just staying right there. Hey, I've been saved. I'm good. Jesus did, he promised that I'd have this, this, and this. And he suffered for me, so I don't have to do any suffering there. So away you go. We're all good to go. That's not true. Pick up your cross. What your cross means is this. Take responsibility for everything you've done. You cannot get through the narrow way unless you have confessed to everything that that's going to be shoved in your face. Have you ever lied? That would be an answer of yes, I've lied. Have you ever had lustful feelings over women that you never knew? Yes. Have you had this? Have you had that? Have you ever stolen anything? You ever done this or done that? All these things are going to be put in your face. And then you're going to be told why you did it. Then you're going to be told what happened to you. They do it because you are there to reconcile with your Father in heaven. What I mean by reconcile, think about that, because I'll tell you in the next couple of shows. You're there to reconcile with your Father in heaven, and you're there to get to know Jesus. What better way to get to know somebody is to be honest with them in the beginning. Completely honest. What did you do to little Sally when you were 15 years old? Did Sally say no? And you did it anyways? What kind of liabilities do you have? You ever thought about murdering somebody and then did scenarios by it? How they were going to die and how much pain they were going to be in? That's the narrow way. I told you it was like a Dr. Phil, folks. That's the narrow way. This is understanding who and what you are. And once you understand that, now you got to change it. And that's not going to be up to you to change it. You let Jesus wash your feet. Let him clean you up. Because you can't do it on your own. You're not worthy of it. Only he's worthy of that. And once you understand that, he begins to become your king and your friend. Believe me, he's very cool to get to know. He's also extremely tough. And those are the words you never want to hear coming out of his mouth, that's saying, I never knew you. Because what happens to you after that is you go to eternal hellfire. It's real, folks. This isn't a joke. Everybody's going to say, oh, that's BS, blah, 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 blah. That is stand up real. How do I know? I've been there. It's part of the narrow way. He's that tough. He does not play. He don't play. And when I saw that there were consequences in heaven, and there were consequences with Jesus, an automatic respect came over me for him. And I go, thank our Father in heaven for that. Because I did not want to go to a heaven where all there was chaos, because everything everybody was doing was going to be forgiven. I was like, oh, great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Imagine being in that world. Oh, yeah, I can. That's called Babylon. Complete and utter chaos. All right. So I'm going to say one more thing, and that's it. If you are being attacked by demons since you turned to Jesus, realize that you are not being attacked by demons since you turned to Jesus. What you're being done is, what's being done to you is the set apart spirit, and or you know him as the Holy Spirit, is judging you. What you're seeing is you. So I'm going to end this particular part one of this series right now. And next time, I'll go ahead and write this down. What happens to you after you meet him, or you start meeting him on an external relationship? And I'll show you what that means with the tabernacle. Thanks for listening to the T-ROH Show. And I will see you next time.